Okay, so let's get into habits. I really wanted to make a quick video on this because I really believe you are only as good as, the way that you embody, or you are only as great as your embodiment of who you choose to be. So things like habits and non-negotiables and routines, right, are super important. But I don't want you to get so set in your ways that you become really rigid in this, right? Like I don't want you to become so check boxy with your morning routine because that totally takes away the point. The purpose of morning routines and doing things like meditations and journaling and gratitude practices and working out and stuff, right? Is to help you get to the state where you feel really good. And so what can create more stress is if we're trying to like pile on a bunch of things because we're like, my morning routine, I can't function without it. I've got to do it this way. Otherwise, I won't be successful. Right. And we can go down that rabbit hole. So I don't want that for you. Right. I want you to feel really calm and sure of yourself in the morning. Right. But I did want to talk about this because it is really important. And I will say, when I took my bookends of my day, so my morning and my evenings, when I started taking those really serious for getting my mindset right, um, I felt like I had more control of my day. Therefore, I was able to create more of what I wanted in my life. Therefore, I was able to be more of this magnetic energy for myself and my life. And so I know that we're going to dive in deep into this month one-on-one in our sessions, but I wanted to make a video that you could use to go back to dive into this conversation a little bit more because it is so important and it really will serve as a beautiful foundation for you to lean on, as you're building. I always want you to be able to come back and refine your practices for yourself, your rituals, right? I like the word rituals more than routine because routine just feels very rigid and it's like I have to do it this way, right? But like habits, rituals, these are just ways that you honor yourself. So I really want you to maybe think about asking yourself the question, how am I honoring myself this morning? How am I going to honor myself this evening? Because as I've already mentioned, right, everything is about energy, and everything is about the energy that we are when we're creating, and everything's about the energy that we are when we are out in the world and just being. So we really want to make sure that who we be who we be is something that feels really good and it feels in alignment. It doesn't feel like we're going against ourselves. So I want you to start really thinking about what are some things I can implement in my mornings and my evenings to feel like I not only have control of my day, but also feel like I can really center and take care of myself first before I show up for others. That's one thing I will really tell you. And this is also why this topic is so important to me, is because as a life coach, right, you exert a lot of energy. Not only are you coming into this building a business, right? It's a lot, as far as building, but serving, right? Even if, I mean, I have the best clients, I have the most loving, beautiful energy clients. But when we're working together, we're talking about a lot of intense stuff. We're shifting paradigms. We're like working through a lot of intense things. So it's a lot of energy. So even though they're beautiful, beautiful energy people, we're still doing a lot. And as a coach, right? I'm sure you get this too. If you love what you do, you put your all into it. Like right now, I'm exerting a lot of energy to do these videos because I'm so passionate and I love what I do and I really care about this, right? So I'm putting a lot in. So it can be really, really exhausting after the fact. After like a day of coaching clients and after a day of building my business, I have got to come back to myself a bit. I've got to have things in place where I can just really like come back to me so that way I can fill my cup up, my tank up to be able to serve at the highest capacity, the highest level for others. So I really want you to take it so, so serious. Just like with adding in play, right? We've got to have these ways to balance ourselves in this process because building a business is no joke. Even if it's one that feels like it lights you up, it's a lot. So you got to make sure you prioritize you in this process, right? Have fun, keep it simple. If you feel like it's too much, sometimes just back off a little bit, right? Don't be afraid to pause. And that's why building in surrender earlier, like I was talking about, is so important, right? We can't be afraid of it. I am preaching this now because it took me a long time to be afraid to step off the gas pedal. I was starting to have a lot of health stuff come up, but I was still like, no, got to push through. It was only when my body started screaming at me with a lot of health stuff that I actually started to listen and pause, right? I was trying to like create posts and stuff have with vertigo. Like that's not okay. So I say all of this not to necessarily preach at you, but to share with you the lessons that I have learned along the way, the hard way. And I want you to be able to avoid this stuff and just, do it right now, right? Do it in a way that feels aligned now. Build the right habits and the right foundation now to save yourself later. So getting back to the habits. So here's where it can sometimes feel overwhelming, right? But if you have something kind of prepared, you always feel ready to say, okay, I can just pull from that and be inspired from that, right? You don't have to think of stuff on the spot because that's where a lot of people struggle. They're just like, I don't even know what I would do. I don't even have time to figure this out right now. And so, blah. So what I would say the first step is really just planning, right? Planning, not in a sense where you're like going to be really rigid about it, but just planning to set yourself up for success. I will say there's a lot of truth in if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That old adage is actually very true. I really believe, especially when it's something that you really, really want to do, right? If you're really serious about becoming a coach, you've got to really embody the practices that you're teaching, right? Because if you're going to be over here teaching people how to like change their lives and all this stuff, you also have to be willing to do that for yourself. Otherwise, you're being inauthentic, you're not coaching in the right way, and you're lying to yourself. And so that doesn't feel good. And so that's creating an energy leak. So I say all that because you really want to get into alignment. So what I would love for you to do is create a life list or whatever you want to call it, life menu of things that you do where you just feel really good doing them. It's not about money. It's literally, we're just talking about hobbies. We're talking about things that soothe you. We're talking about things that you lose track of time when you do them, right? For me, it's yoga, stretching, writing, reading, dance. I do a lot of dance, right? A lot of asking my body how it wants to move. Sometimes it is like retail therapy, and that's not to like go and spend a crap ton of money just because, but like sometimes I love going to like luxurious, beautiful stores and I don't even necessarily need to buy anything, but sometimes I just like to try stuff on. I like to feel the luxurious fabrics. It makes me feel abundant. So things that just make you feel abundant, sometimes it's literally going on a walk and listening to a beautiful podcast or just walking with just being present in the moment, right? Whatever it is for you, I want you to write out all of this on a list and see, right, that there's so much more that you actually have available to you that you're not even aware of. There's so much available to you to have those moments of zenning out. Now, I'm not saying do all of them in a day, right? I'm saying you want to create this list to be able to have ideas to choose from in the mornings and in the evenings. Maybe create a morning menu and an evening menu, and a menu that you can your quick fix menu during the day, right? When you need like a 5-minute break. Mine is typically like I'll get up and I'll just go take a lap, just like wherever. I'll just walk around my house for a second. Or sometimes I just need a 3-minute meditation. So I'll set my timer for 3 minutes, or I just need to breathe. And that helps me. So what I want you to do is just create these life menus for yourself to pull from to really honor yourself in this journey that you're on, really having these grounding, anchoring things for yourself to center you. Another thing, one of my favorite things is this sounds really weird, but it's actually really good for like opening your third eye. It's actually really good for just feeling soothed, is actually staring at a candle flame. It sounds really weird, but it's actually really soothing. So sometimes I'll sit in a bath and I'll have a candle lit and I'll just hold it in front of me while I'm just sitting there. And I'll just stare at this candle while I'm taking a bath. And it's really peaceful. But you know what? It sounds goofy, but it brings me back to myself. I always get out of my bath and I just feel really calm. So this is also about knowing yourself, knowing what you need, not judging yourself, and just allowing yourself to have that, right? Indulging in your life, asking how life can delight you. That's another one of my favorite questions to ask myself. Life, how can you delight me today? Or thank you for delighting me, right? I'm so, so grateful for all these moments, right? And so the more that you have gratitude for these things too, the more that you are able to allow them in, the more that they come in. So, and you get a reason to be luxurious for a second. So I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole on that, but I say all of this because your habits, your routines, your rituals for yourself are so, so important for being able to continuously show up as the powerful coach that I know you are and that you most desire to be. So it's not all about work, right? That was the biggest myth that I think I had in my mind around the idea of starting a business, is that it's work, 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 work. That was probably why I didn't want to start it, is because I assumed I was going to be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Initially, yes, it's a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to operate like that. You can choose how you build the foundation of your business. And it can work for you, especially in the beginning phases when chances are you're working another job, right? So there's ways to do that. And if you want more insight on how to build this like on the side, right? That's what we're going to dive into in our one-on-ones. I'm really able to meet you where you're at and give you an insight of how to just do this in a way that feels really good. But rituals and rebuilding your habits for yourself are a great way to do that. The last thing I want to say on this is I really want you to also, and I probably should have started here, but I really want you to take inventory. What are your rituals and your habits and your routines for yourself right now? Do you even have any? What are you doing? What is working for you? What's not? Get really, really clear on your current habits and rituals and things so you can really just take a look and say, no wonder, right? No wonder this wasn't working for me, or no wonder I'm stressed all the time, or no wonder, right? Is because it's A, B, and C currently. So you really want to take an inventory of it, really see what's working, what's not. Get really real, right? This is the time to get so honest with yourself. If it's not working, don't pretend like it is because you don't want to sound stupid or whatever. Just get so honest and change it. Make changes. That's how you do anything. Another thing I'll say is really think about how much water are you adding in? What kinds of things are you consuming, right? Conversations with like what kind of people in your life, what kind of media, what kind of music, right? Like what kind of vibe is around you that you're taking in all day long, right? Really think about these things. And I'm trying to think if I forgot anything else, but just really what this is about is bringing consciousness into the way you be currently in the world, like throughout the day, right? What are you embodying? What is your constant state, right? You've got to have these practices for yourself that really serve you, right? Another thing you can do is start really listening to like affirmation videos on YouTube, motivational videos. It's so important that you get really serious about your mindset in this, because I'm telling you, like you've got to add in mindset stuff, because as you go about this journey, you're going to be tested. Your mindset, you're going to learn it's 99.9% you against your mind in this. And in order to keep showing up, you've got to really focus on your mindset. So we will dive into mindset, of course, but I really want you on the side, right, to become very, very almost initially in the beginning obsessed with getting your mindset reprogrammed into positivity, into gratitude, into something that motivates you, because that will help you in the day to day. That will help you show up powerfully for others and for yourself and for your business and for your life. So I'm super proud of you. You've got this. If you need more ideas, right, reach out to me. I've got plenty, and I can tell you in real time the things that I'm doing to help myself out too.